Morning fellas. Regarding these radar laser detectors people buy for the cars, I've got a couple, had them for years. There's so many fakes around and just scam detectors. Like this one here, this one with a red band in the centre, this is actually advertised as a Cobra, a genuine Cobra in a lot of places, and it's not. It's an absolute fake. The instruction book's good, the packaging is good, but when you actually open it, once you get it home and open it, you find it's a cheap piece of rubbish. It's got a pure red display. You know, the menu functions on the detector bears no relation to the instruction book. It's an absolute piece of rubbish, garbage, as you guys say. I was one of the first ones about 5 years ago. I imported a few of these just to check them out, and they're absolute rubbish, garbage, as you guys say. Likewise, there's one. This will be the same, I think. This one with a red circle. This is UK eBay, but it's much the same. Like this one, I was the first person to import one of these, and I'm involved in radar laser protection, so to speak, and I've actually got laser guns, police laser guns, and lo and behold, on the police laser gun, which is all they use now, we don't use actually hardly anywhere, even in the US, did you use radar now. And when they do use radar, they use pop, KA pop. So they point the gun at your car, they pull a trigger, and the same as laser, they've got you. They've got your speed in 0.3, 0.4 of a second, which, if you know your physiology, the human reaction time, even for a young man, is about 0.3 or 0.4 seconds. So before you even realise the cops got you with LiDAR or radar, they've got your speed. They've already got you if you're speeding. This one, I actually tested it with my own police speed guns. It's available in blue and red, and there's got no reaction, and there's no laser detection in it at all. Where the bump is here, where you'd expect there to be a black or clear photodiode or phototransistor, there is no laser detecting equipment in it whatsoever. All there is a cheap little circuit board at the back. It's probably okay for picking up basic radar. The radar horn was the reception horn, but it's an absolute piece of rubbish. And a lot of these are. You've got a fancy, but I don't know about this one, Skyway Aguri, which is the same as those other orange coloured ones that they sell. And you know, it's a lovely box, lovely presentation, but when you actually get inside them, there's next to nothing in them. I mean, if you open the top of a genuine Cobra or whatever, Valentine probably, or Escort, I mean, you've got a double-sided circuit board with some miniature SMD components, and it's packed. It's packed with components, basically. I don't know how they squeeze them all in, and they do detect everything. And on a lot of the better ones, they've got GPS to log in where known speed cameras are, and they've got a lot of muting features, like even on the like $60 Cobras, they've got like Intel mute, and you can set it so that at lower revs, it's when you're idling, when you're in traffic or traffic signals, you know, it just goes quiet, which is great because you do get a lot of false alerts, especially in urban areas. You get them off alarm systems, you get them off microwave towers, phone towers, speed warning signs, precaution signs. You get them, false alerts everywhere. But sadly, when the police hits you with his KA radar gun, which are getting very rare now due to health concerns, being phased out very fast, or a LiDAR gun, even though you've got one of these, without a jammer, you're stuffed, basically. They've got your speed in 0.3, 0.4 of a second. I know because I've actually been hit many times. Fortunately, I've jammed them a couple of times, and a couple of times, like certainly locally, there's a couple of hot spots, you know, like areas where if you're well versed, you know that sometimes here. And I was actually behind a woman once, and I noticed she was speeding in this hot spot. So I thought, oh, I'm going to hang back. And when the policeman hit her with his ultralight compact, this is a year or so ago, I actually picked up the laser gun, so she got a ticket, I didn't. But as I say, when I did detect this trace, it was too late. You know, without a jammer, you're buggered, as we say. You're stuffed. And a lot of these, I mean, a lot of these, like for instance, you'll order it and it'll say it's got a coloured display, and when it arrives it's got a red display. Some of the voice alert ones are quite funny, the Chinese ones. I bought a couple of voice alert ones, quite reasonable. I thought, oh, I'll have a look at these, it looked cool, you know. And one of them wouldn't even trigger until I put it next to my Cobra. Then it started working. You know, from the signal off the Cobra, actually triggered it to start working. And the voice, oh my God, it was like some crazy Japanese general shouting commands. You know, it's bang, distracted. It was absolutely shrill. You couldn't bear it. I just sold it on for like half what I bought it for. Here's another one. These fake Cobras at the bottom there. It doesn't actually say Cobra here, but if I was to put Cobra radar detector, this one would come up. And I've been in contact with Cobra. I've used Cobra stuff for years, usually bought direct from the USA, and even the old CB radios and sidebanders and General Grants and what have you, old classic stuff, and they're always very reliable. The genuine Cobras, not this cheap shite. Also, bearing in mind, like I say, all the police in America now, I think all but 2 states, I think, have swapped over to LIDAR, because there's always been health concerns regarding LIDAR guns, because, you know, during the wartime in the 60s and 70s, there were many cases where servicemen, especially on ships with high-powered radar sets to detect the enemy, developed cancer, especially testicular cancer. So they're phasing it out rapido, as fast as they can. I mean, like I say, if you want to buy one of these things, I think they're a great piece of technology. It's basically born from the early jet age of aircraft, and yeah, interesting. You know, I've got 2 of them, and I might be getting another one shortly. And I use them in demos, you know, demos with laser guns. But I mean, to think of paying like $399, $599 for one of these to detect mainly alarm systems, and knowing that if the police do hit you, it's going to be too late. It will always be too late. I mean, they've definitely dropped. Like this Redenso, I think this is a copy. This has been a hard sell. They were selling these at $400 or $500 recently, and it's basically an Agori made in China. You know, maybe looks a little bit better than some of the cheap fakes, but it's probably made in the same factory as the fake Cobras. It really is. As I said, but particularly these red ones and these, oh, there we go. This is the one that has one coloured display, has quite a decent radar detection horn, and has a bump at the front, and despite it saying it will pick up all laser signals, it's got no laser detection hardware inside. On like a $60, $70 Cobra, it's got at least usually two photo sensors, one for the front and one for the side and rear protection. Also, as I said, the rear protection lens is bullshit as well. Basically, it's just a piece of plastic sticks down. It doesn't connect to anything. So this is how bad. It wouldn't surprise me if some of these are exactly the same. A lot of these are made in the same factory. I mean, I've actually had a couple of these delivered, completely different models, completely different colours, delivered in the same box. It's a shame I threw it away, really. But once I found out it didn't do anything it was supposed to do, I couldn't wait to get rid of it. I sold it on for, I bought it for like 10 quid and sold it on for £4. So it was obviously a pile of rubbish. Let's see if it's got that one. The one with a shrill voice that wouldn't trigger. That was a couple of years ago. So it was similar to this one here. But it wouldn't actually trigger out of the box until I put it right next to a Cobra, and then it kind of came off with a harmonic signal and it started working. But as I said, just beware, guys, because I mean, $9.99, you know, this is like $12 US posted. It's cheap and cheerful, and it will detect most radar sources, but it basically won't do half of what it says it does. It won't detect any laser equipment. It's got no laser detector diode in it. You know, it won't do half. Here it says again, you see, quite cheap and cheerful, but the shite, basically, to put it into colloquial English, actually rubbish, the shite. So I would highly recommend, if you are interested in one of these, get kind of, what's that, a $60, $100 Cobra. You can, in some cases, you can also use them as a laser detector alert, and use a lower cost jammer, like the ones I make, like the ones I produce. Although that's not the subject I'm on right now. I mean, if I was to put in Cobra here, I'm sure, I don't want this video to be too long, but if I was to put in Cobra, I can guarantee those with a red stripe will come up. I will be shocked. And also you will get the genuine Cobras, and as far as the genuine Cobras go, I really would exalt them. I've got one in the garage and I've had it for 7 years, about 7 or 8 years. It's been thrown out of the car window by one of my children repeatedly. The front lens has come off, I've super glued it back in. It's been battered, it's scratched to hell, and it's still fully working. It's still very, very sensitive and does what it's supposed to do. Here we are, look, here we are. Radar laser detector, Cobra XR, absolute nonsense. It's a pile of rubbish, pile of garbage, absolute shite. To its credit, it does have a laser detector diode inside, so it may or may not pick up some LiDAR guns. But as I say, it's pretty academic, really, because when you get hit with a laser gun, a police LiDAR gun, they have your speed without a jammer. They have your speed in 0.3 or 0.4 of a second anyway. And if you go on here on Google reaction tester, there's actually reaction testers where you can kind of respond to a signal, click your mouse, and you will find it always takes about 0.4 seconds, even if you're kind of 19. It goes a bit slower when you're older, of course, but you know, what chance do you stand of slowing down? To put it into a realistic situation, I've had one of these, a good quality genuine Cobra, on my dash more or less constantly for the last 3 years, and I can only think of one occasion when I think I did pick a faint reflected trace up off a long windy road just before one of these police hotspots, and I thought, oh, could that be, you know, a possible warning? And I slowed down, and on that one occasion in 3 or 4 years, it seemed like it did. Also, regarding laser alerts, a lot of you guys will know, we have now on most modern cars, all of them, basically all the latest cars, we have auto brake, safety stop, Ford safety stop, whatever, Mercedes, where they use similar technology to LiDAR. They shoot out a low hertz, like 100 hertz, 150 hertz signal forward from by the rear view mirror, and it actually puts the brakes on. It doesn't always stop you, but it mitigates the damage, you know, and it's cut down on, it's definitely cutting down on fatalities and serious injuries. So you also get laser alerts from them, usually in traffic lines, traffic queues, at kind of, you know, whatever, intersections and traffic lights. But you don't get them so much at high speed, because these safety systems don't work at high speed. But the one thing it does do is tell you your laser detector is working, and, you know, working correctly, especially on kind of sports cars and cars with large back windows. You tend to pick them up from like SUVs, as you call them, 4x4s, behind you. It comes straight through onto your dash. But it's a bit annoying, but at least it confirms that your detector, whichever brand it is working properly. So, I mean, if you want to get one of these, I'd recommend the genuine Cobra, not these crap things. Just buy them from a decent place. They're so good. I've got one of these, yes. I've got one of these old things. This is the one that's been thrown out and the lens has come off, and I've put it back in. It's covered in scratches and it's still fully functional. It really is very good. I've always had one of these as well. Very good. As long as you buy it from a decent seller. I certainly wouldn't pay that. That is grossly overpriced. I think I paid, a couple of years ago, I paid about £60 for mine. £60, and they're selling it for £349. That's another opportunist. That's another opportunist bloody salesman. Here we go, see again, XRS, using a correct, well, a similar Cobra model number, and at least the price is low. You know, at least he's not asking hundreds of dollars, hundreds of pounds. But as you see, here we go, more fake Cobras. How are these allowed? I've reported loads of them. They're absolute scam to call them a fake, and it's also pulling down Cobra's reputation, as I've said. I think these are genuine. So, I mean, if you're interested in buying a radar detector, I'd encourage you to do so, but don't pay for this. I mean, which is ridiculous for something that costs like $2 to make. You know, it's probably made in the same factory as all the fakes. Come on. People are getting wised up to it now. I think they've realised that all these are a false sense of security. You'll probably think, well, I'm doing 40 and a 30, but I've got a detector that'll protect me, so I'll do 49 and a 30. You know, you just end up with bigger fines, bigger bans, more endorsements, penalty points. You know, so if you want to look at real protection, look at getting a jammer or an effective jammer at a reasonable price, or just try and get into the habit of using Waze or whatever, know where the cameras are, know where the police pop up now and again with their leader ambushes, and just try and slow down, guys, because I mean, you know, at the end of the day, if it's an empty road, we're all tempted, but you know, it obviously does increase fatalities and serious accidents, and you don't want to ruin your nice sports car, do you, for the sake of 2 minutes rashness, or lose your license for that matter. So just thought I'd warn you guys. Okay, a bit longer than I thought. Okay, see ya.